Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics video on the channel. Round 2 was a tough round from my own team. Roller coaster for sure, some big scores but also some bullets. And yeah, the team is in a bit of a predicament because there is James leaks everywhere. There is leaks everywhere, unfortunately. There are a lot of holes in the team that I need to try and fix. And players I need to trade out, unfortunately. So just the 1789 this week. Round rank of 26,448. But overall rank of 22,285. So up about, what, 600 spots or so? Or actually, no, so what is it? I was up 520, so 580 spots. Sorry, my bad. So 580 spots up this week. Hey, we go in the right direction. We went up considering how bad this week was. So it just shows how, I guess, everyone else is suffering. I'm not the only coach out there that's got a lot of these bullets, but obviously we do have a few, particularly one unique player that went down with an early injury. So +3 and -3. +3, Jordan Dawson and Connor Rozee can consider themselves unlucky not to be getting the +3, but Jack McRae outdid those two this week with a massive 153, and Jack McRae is back. The McRae of old that we know and love looks well and truly back, and averaging 131 over the first 2 weeks is fantastic. Massive 150, showing he's still got that ceiling. Everyone pretty much owns him. And if you are in the 41.62% that don't own him, you just have to jump on him. He's looking fantastic. Got a main midfield role and I think playing well for St Kilda, even though some other people think otherwise. He's been very, very good for the Saints over the first 2 weeks. And if you don't have him, you need him because I think he's the number 1 forward now in terms of also do a rolling. He would be number 1 there with a couple other guys closely behind. But he is the +3 of the week. -3, it's got to go to Harry Perryman and Collingwood and their coaching staff. For the fact that I don't know why it keeps rolling all the way down there for every player. But anyway, Perryman, pre-season, when they sign him, they pay a heap of money and they go, yep, he's going to play in the midfield. He's going to be a useful part in there. Plays all midfield pre-season games. Opening round plays midfield. And then it comes to round 1 and he hardly plays any midfield. And then he doesn't attend a single CBA against the Bulldogs on Friday. Plays defence and doesn't want the ball. He's not like a Dacos or a Goulden or a Dawson or a Bont or anyone like, or a Sheasel. He doesn't demand the ball. He really doesn't look like he wants the ball, to be fair. He's there to do the role for the team and that's it. And we can't be having those sort of players in our fantasy team. Guys that don't score well and don't want the ball, they're just not going to get it done. He's on bye this week, so if you have got bullets, he doesn't have to go. And there's a world where I think I'll have to hold him this week with Tom Stewart having to deal with that. But if you don't have Tom Stewart, which I know a lot of people don't, then I'd be trading Harry Perryman. Definitely, he has to go. So going through the rest of the players here, Tom Stewart. It happens every year. And this is why Tom Stewart never averages 100. Because there is a game where he gets injured early and he goes out for a sub-20 score. And in this case, it was a 9. So he went down 53K. It went down 69K, which isn't great, obviously. And I've now got to trade him. Obviously, he's got to go. He's out for, I think they're talking, it's going to be around at least 4 weeks. It could be longer, depending on if it's surgery or not. But it's looking like a bit of time on the sidelines again for Stewart. Of course, he's going to become an option again, right? He's got a 141 break even. He's going to drop in price. He's going to be in the 700s. And much like last year and the year before and the year before that, he gets to a point where we're like, it's too cheap to ignore. We upgrade a mid-price or a rookie that's not getting it done to him. And he's our D5 or D6 till upgrade season. So I'm sure he'll be back in my team at some point. Unless it was more of a serious one which rules him out for the year. But sounds more like a PCL. But yeah, unfortunately, he ruined the weekend for me. It meant I had to take Perryman's 43. So probably cost me at least 40 points, that injury. And obviously a heap of cash, which is not great. Jaiden shot 85, got there in the end. Obviously a big last quarter helped in there. It was a tough matchup, so I'm taking a little bit of the fact that he's had Carlton and Port Adelaide to start. Not great matchups. He's gone back-to-back 80s. Still finds a way to get there, even without the kick. Not many kick-ins. Ben Miller was the guy that took all the kick-ins on the weekend. And obviously Vlosten was the other guy that took kick-ins. So I'm just having a quick look here at exactly how many kick-ins Jaiden Short had on the weekend. Because I can't recall him having much more than probably 2, if that. So I'll have a quick look here as we're recording to see how many he had. But it wasn't many, that's for sure. So Port had 14, behind, so 14 kick-in. So Jaiden Short took 1 kick-in. Ben Miller had 8, Voston had 3, and Tom Brown had 2. So Jaiden Short, that's quite surprising that Jaiden Short's, I think, their best kick in the team, and he's the guy that's at the bottom. So that might flip a little bit more. It's surprising they went to Ben Miller to take the kick-ins, but it is what it is, I guess. But I think he's got better days ahead. St Kilda this week, great matchup. I think we could finally see a big Jaiden Short score this weekend, and hopefully he can put up some tons moving forward, and he's not too much of an issue. But he's not an issue at the moment with, obviously, the other players that we've got in the team. Matt Roberts, 95, 30, what did he have? He had a 31-point last quarter. Very, very nice. He's on bye this week, but I'm just definitely not trading him. He's looking really, really good over the first few games that he's played. What's he gone? He's gone, 104, 81, bit quieter, and then 95. So really, really good. High time on ground, which is fantastic. Like I flagged that in opening round, the 95% time on ground, and that's continued in the preceding 2 games there. High time on ground. I think we'll see bigger scores than this. I think Hawthorn, Brisbane are tough matchups, and then even the Freo game was a low-scoring game. Obviously got the bye sweep, but then North and Collingwood after bye, there could be some good scores following. So he is a guy I'm definitely holding on to, and there's a well where he goes high 90s, and it's a very, very good pick. Perryman, as I mentioned, will be going. Joel Fraser was okay, 75, made some decent cash, which is good. Played a bit of midfield, played a bit everywhere, to be honest, again. I just think I'll be holding him, obviously, through. He's got a few trickier games coming up, so Carlton, Freo, Brisbane, Saints is good, then Giants and Port. So tough run for Bulldogs in general coming up, but he's been very good over the first 2 weeks, and lower score, but I think the Dogs had a fairly low-scoring game themselves on their end. So Fraser was solid as well. Luke Traynor, 33. Cost myself probably 8 points playing Traynor over Reid, but I didn't really predict seeing Tom Stewart go 9 and a few others going a lot lower than 51. So I thought I'd risk the 51 to see if I'd get more, and I didn't think he'd go more, but 33 against Port's not great. He's got Saints this week, as I mentioned, with Short, so I'm hoping for a good score, and he'll be someone that'll be covering Matt Roberts and maybe Perryman if I have to hold him. Sam Taylor obviously didn't play, obviously on bye. He's probably got to stay with Stewart and Perryman, but he's a guy I'm still looking to trade in probably round 4. Hopefully he puts up a big score this week. He's got the Eagles, so absolute worst case if I had to hold him, it's fine, but he needs to go by round 5 still. Zach Reid, 51. 10-point second half again, so a really quiet second half. It's disappointing he didn't go on with that. Had a tough day against Darcy Fogarty. The commentators and that mentioned it as well. So he's not going to get dropped or anything. His place is safe. But, tough score back-to-back for him. I was hoping for a bit more than the 51. But end of the day, he's over 300k now, making cash. And, he's got a bye coming up. Can be a handy guy to use as a loop the following week. Moving to the midfield, Jordan Dawson, 134 was fantastic. Back-to-back massive scores, averaging 130 over the first 2 weeks. So really, if he even only averages 105 over the next month, you've got the 2 VC scores, which I've got. So the 2 scores doubled, and he's got off to a good start that he hasn't dropped, obviously, amount in cash. And his break-in is actually 93, so he might even make more cash the way he's going. They've still got a decent run over the next few weeks, so North, Gold Coast, and Geelong. I do expect maybe a Will Phillips will try and go with a Dawson. Gold Coast, do they send like a Took to Dawson to go head-to-head? And then maybe Mark O'Connor goes to him against Geelong. But we know Dawson's just... And then he's got Bedford actually there. So a few potential tags coming for him. But we just know how good a player Dawson is. He'll go forward if he needs to. With the Crows playing better than what they were last year and looking good up forward, I think there'll be more chances for him to score compared to last year when he rested forward. So, and it's not going to be a full quarter. It might be a 5-minute stint here and there. But I think, had the most CBAs of any Crows mid on the weekend, which is what I do sort of expect. I still expect to be in the top 3 in every game this season. So he's looking good, and very, very happy I picked him, along with the fact that he's one of my favourites, obviously, as many people know. Connor Rozee, very, very good pick to start, averaging near 130 over the first 2 weeks, a massive 145 here. I did expect him to go big and respond against Richmond at home, obviously the way they played the week before, being the captain. I expect a big score from him. Didn't think it'd cost me 11 points doing the VC for Dawson, but obviously I'm never taking a 134 on as a VC. But 145, I'm glad I just own both. They're probably the 2 players that really kept my week, along with the McRae and a couple of others afloat from being a real disaster, because it could have easily been if I didn't have a couple of these players. Will Day, 75. Disappointing. The positive is that he gave away... positive is that not that he gave away 5 free kicks, but the fact he still scored 75. This could have easily been a 90 plus, maybe even a ton. Got caught holding the ball when he was about to have a shot for goal. Couple of tackles that slipped high. I'm fine enough with him. Obviously, he's not the biggest priority. I still like a him to Tom Powers. That is a good trade that I'd consider for people out there that want to make that move. Bedford this week, obviously, we'll get him. John Newcombe played really well. I wonder if they decide to go there. I still expect to go to Will Day regardless. But yeah, obviously tag coming, but then his run does start open up after the bye. So it depends. Like if you're in a good position and you want to trade him now, you're obviously going to get a poor score this week and then a bye. If you can move to a Tom Power who's looking like a great pick, he could be someone that you do look at moving. And I'd love to do a trade like that. Unfortunately, I've got other issues I need to fix up. Clayton Oliver, really, really good. If you don't have him, I think you need him. 114, even in the Melbourne loss. That was the best game I've seen him play so far in 2025. He's looking better every week that goes on. 114 in a loss. The only thing that really sort of meant that he didn't go a lot bigger was the tackles, only 2 tackles. We know that he can hit higher than that. Giants was a tough matchup. A few people were worried, but he still had 25 disposals, 5 marks, 5 tackles. This week got a lot more of the ball. I just expect that to continue. He's a guy that finds the footy and looked really good today. So, or yesterday, obviously, when the video's out. So I would be looking at him if you don't have him. And if you've got him, I'd be very comfortable with him sitting there. Nathan O'Driscoll, 79 was good. Very happy with him. Low time on ground, I think from memory. I think his time on ground was quite low. 71%. Yes, a little bit lower. Only got 50-odd% in the first quarter, which is disappointing. But still 25 touches, just the 3 marks and only 2 tackles. But we know he can get a few more than that. Breaking to 14. Good run coming up as well. West Coast this week. Bulldogs, Richmond, Melbourne. Really nice run. I'm very happy with him sitting there. And I think he's a solid option if you don't have him as well. Levi Ashcroft. Good. Got there in the end with a 74. Very happy with that. -3 break even. He's going to make some really good cash as well. Really nice run as well. Geelong, Richmond, Bulldogs, Collingwood, St Kilda, Gold Coast, Melbourne, and North Melbourne, then Melbourne. He's going to have some good scores, I think. I was surprised he didn't really get any CBAs today. I don't think he actually attended one still, which surprised me. I thought in a game, I guess, because Brisbane were behind, they couldn't really have the luxury of putting him in there a bit more. Maybe the game against Richmond, maybe get some CBAs there. But even in a forward, mostly forward with a bit of wing time role, he still gets it done, really. It doesn't matter. So just having a look here. Yeah, so he didn't attend any CBAs, which is no surprise with the way the game went. Xavier Lindsay, very, very good. Again, had a good last quarter to get this as well. But 80 points from a rookie, made a lot of cash this week. 75K, -13 break even. This is probably the final week to get him and an Ashcroft if he didn't get to jump on either last week. But again, Melbourne, as I mentioned, have also got a pretty good run. I think Lindsay and Ashcroft are clearly the 2 rookies you want on field. Whether you want another one like a Law or someone on field is obviously the question. But definitely these 2. Finn O'Sullivan, on the other hand, you don't want on field, I don't think, anymore. 33. Break-even's now up to 31 as well. The disappointing thing with him was the fact that he has the half-back role. He's not playing on a wing. Like the wingman at the moment for North Melbourne is McKercher and Bailey Scott. They're the guys that play on the wings, and a Darcy Tucker and even a Dylan Seams when he came on. Finn O'Sullivan is playing off half-back. He's just not wanting the ball. Like he doesn't have the same thirst as a Harry Shees or a Colby McKercher that have had in that role. He doesn't call for the short +6s. That he gets the ball every now and again because he's going to be a good player for them. But he's not, and we knew this as well. He's not an accumulator. He hasn't been an accumulator through his junior years. So, yeah, I'd be putting him to the bench. There's a world where you can trade him if you don't have a Hastings, if you don't have other issues. He's got to break even at 31. I don't think he's going to necessarily make another 400K. He might pop a score of a 70 or an 80 and maybe start making cash again. So, if you've got no one else to trade and you're looking at another rookie or a Nevitt or an O'Driscoll if you don't have him, I think you can trade a Finn O'Sullivan to one of them because, yeah, I just don't think he's going to be the accumulator we need and make enough cash. Sam Lawler, on the other hand, still getting it done. 62, so backed up the 68 he got the week before. Had a good last quarter to get this score, which it seemed like a few of the rookies had good last quarters to get their scores this week, which is still good. Doesn't matter which way they score, as long as they get them there. So he had a couple of CBAs in this game, so had the 16. So it was good to see his CBAs take a bit of a spike after round 1. So Taranto, Hopper, Thompson down were the first top 3. Then Lawler was next with 16. It was his last quarter, though, where he had a few of these CBAs. So he had the most CBAs on the ground with 6. And there was... Was there only 6 CBAs? I think there was only 6 CBAs in the last quarter. So got it done, which is really, really good. It might have been 6 or 7. So yeah, tended pretty much all the CBAs in the last quarter. I think that Richmond will continue to give him more time in the midfield. 35 points in the last quarter, which was also a positive. I think he's someone you can play on ground. I think he'll average 60 to 65, get some solid scores. That's not awful at M8 to have paired alongside an Ashcroft and a Lindsay. But obviously, if you've got no Driscoll and a Never, it might be hard to have him on the field. But I think on the bench, he is a worthwhile pick there. And you can trade into him still. 410k is a bit more expensive, but his job security is great. His role looks good as well. And I think he'll pop some good scores. St Kilda this week could also be one where he has a good game. Lucas Camporelli, unfortunately, got subbed out in the third quarter. Was quite up to that point, though. Just the 30 points. I hate the sub rule. Just kills cash gen. I hope he doesn't get dropped, but Carlton are 0-2. Do they make a change or two? And is Camporelli the guy that might sort of be the unlucky guy that gets dropped? Hopefully not, but if he does, obviously we can trade him out. He's obviously made a tiny bit of cash, which is okay, but still break even to 6. If he's named, I don't think he's a guy we need to trade. I think he's still got some cash to make. Just depends if he gets dropped or if he is the starting sub. Carlton do play on the Friday night, so we'll know. I don't think many people are going to be trading Essendon and Port players on the Thursday night. So Friday we'll get to have a look and see if he's the sub. Tristan Sherry, Big X, was good in this game. He got the better of Max Gawn. It was just unfortunate that his tackles were down. Only 2 tackles and only 9 over the first two weeks, which is... I'm not concerned. He still had 14 tackles against West Coast in the preseason. I think it's just a bit more of circumstance. I think the Melbourne game... he didn't tackle as much, but the Adelaide game, Adelaide obviously a high stoppage team. Sydney, I think a decent stoppage team as well, along with Gold Coast. There are better scores to come. Obviously, it's a tougher run with Adelaide, Sydney, and Gold Coast. But O'Brien, I think he can still go okay. Who knows if Grundy's going to play round 4 if he gets rested or something like that, and it is a Laddams or a McLean or whatever. Witts, could he even get rested? That's obviously the thing. But then obviously Cherry goes into a bit of an easier run for the next few weeks after that. So obviously not concerned with him. He dropped a tiny bit of cash this week, but he's still going to be, I think, a top 2 ruck this year, and he still got a lot. He got a lot of the ball. That was the thing that I was impressed with. He, in terms of his disposals, I think he had like 20 odd. 20 touches, 2 marks, and a couple of tackles as well. Obviously, his tackles normally will be up, which means that his ceiling's up. So if that's his worst game for the year, I think it won't get, I don't think, worse than that. With 20 touches, about 25 to 30 hitouts. His tackles will be up there. He's fine. He's more than fine. So, Tom De Koning, though, backed up his 134 or something like that. Yeah, 132 from round 1 with a 107. Quite last sort of couple of quarters there, but still 107. Not complaining with that. Good average over the first 2 weeks, making cash. And end of the day, if Pitney comes in a few weeks, which obviously with Carlton being 0-2, there is a chance that were to happen, even though I don't think Tom De Koning's the reason that Carlton are losing. We can always go to Marshall, who looks very, very good. So that's a play that we can look at some point. But Tom De Koning's been good over the first 2 weeks. Boyd obviously didn't play, and I don't know when he'll be playing, with Marshall looking good on the weekend. So that'll be interesting. Jason Horne-Francis, concerning, 62, not great. Break-even's obviously big. He's gone down in price. I thought he looked great in the preseason. I was keen on starting him. But at the end of the day, I wish I went Rankin over him. I prefer Rankin, obviously, as a Crows fan. And Horne-Francis is the number 1 tag take while Butters is out. It's been shown that they want to shut him down. Richmond scoring a 62, gave away 5 free kicks, gave off 2 goals to teammates. Could have easily been a bigger day for him. I don't think I'm going to panic too much. I think he's still going to be a top 6 forward. There's no point trading him out or anything like that, because he's the sort of guy I think that can put up a decent score if you trade him out. He's still got Essendon and St Kilda next 2, which is good matchups. But yeah, maybe we got to temper. I think a few people were thinking he could go 100, but I think it's closer to the 90 than it is the 100, I think, and might not even be 90 if he keeps putting up scores like this. At least it wasn't a 40. That's all I can say. Jack McRae mentioned before, though, 153, fantastic. It's good to have the Jack McRae of old back. 85k made, 20 break even. He's near 850 now, which is crazy that he's still that cheap. And he's a definite captain option. Richmond this week, I dare say he'll be in the top 5 of my captains this week, and someone I heavily consider with captain or vice captain. Riley Sanders, 69. I thought Friday night he would have been one of the guys I'd be looking at trading, but he's now probably the least of my concerns. Had a good last quarter. Good second half, actually. He was on 24 at half time. So what's that? A 45-point second half. If he can put a couple of good halves together and score some 80s and 90s, with the forward line not doing as good, I don't think he's necessarily a must trade. But he clearly doesn't have the role. He's playing a lot more forward. His game time's low. Took a bit more of a dip this week. So, it'd be interesting to see what it looks like this week. But I think he's still in the 22. I don't really see any sub or sub-outs, but who knows? It's Bevo. If he is a sub or subbed out, obviously that would be an issue. Caleb Daniel, 114 was great. His biggest score of the season, obviously, out of the first 2 games. But really good. 31 touches, 6 marks. I think there'll be days where those marks are even higher than this. And I think he can definitely hit some bigger scores than a 114. But great to see him go 114. I think he's going to be a top 3 to 4 forward. And very happy to have him there. Sam Wicks, unfortunately, was my 18th scorer. Scored 1 point more than Perryman. And his break-even's 39. Obviously, his cash is stalled now. He's not going to make any more than what he's priced at. I'd love to trade him out. But again, with other issues, he'll probably have to stay for another week or 2. But he'll be someone I'll cash in at some point and go down to another rookie that's come in to make some more cash. Obviously, Connor Stone was on bye. Bailey Smith obviously didn't play as well. Sounds like he'll be back this week. It sounded more like it was calf soreness and they just wanted to rest him for the week. Worst case, I think he misses this week and he's back the week after. So I'd be holding if you are an owner, and a lot of people are still. I think a few people jumped off, about 1, 2, 3% of the comp. Obviously, he was at about 74%. A few more people probably jumped off him, so it could be a bit lower than 73, but I wouldn't be trading. I think he'll be back there. Sam Davidson scored a 60, was solid. I think he had a pretty quiet last quarter. Could have been a bit more, but 60 at the end of the day for a rookie is fine. Makes some solid cash. -6 break even. He's got some more cash to make, so he is fine there. And obviously Angus Hasty I had to hold after pivoting off Garcia when he was the sub as a red dot, so I'm hopeful to get rid of him this week. So that's the team. In terms of trades this week, I've got 370k in the bank, which is nice, so it gives me a bit of wiggle room. So I've probably got 3 options I'm looking at the moment. So first option is just going Stewart and Perryman out, and maybe going up to a Nasiah and a Dan Rioli or a Kane Farrell for a Perryman. They're probably the 2 trades I'd look at. Second option, which is probably the option I'm looking at doing at the moment, is going a Tom Stewart to a Farrell or Rioli, and then going a Hasty up to a Never and benching a Finn O'Sullivan. I think getting Never into the midfield will be good. Get a guy that's making cash. And then the other option I've got is if I wanted to go Stewart down to a Jackson Pryor and look at maybe playing 2 defender rookies moving forward, and then going Hasty up to a Tom Powell. That's another option. I don't know if I like that because I think that's leaving me way too thin in defence, because it means it'll be Short, Roberts, Perryman, Fraser, Taylor, and then a rookie. But obviously Taylor, I wanted to go down to Bice to go Perryman up. So it could be you're playing 2 rookies, and if you get one dropped, I think it's a bit risky. You're probably in a bit of struggle town with playing that. So I'm probably looking more at the second option, getting Nevered in, just to put Finn O'Sullivan on the bench, but I don't mind the Stewart and Perryman out trade first. But if a Camp Ready was out, I think that would lean me more towards doing the second option. So they're the options I'm looking at. Obviously, I've still got the whole week to think about what I could do. I might even come up with another option, but that's what I'm looking at doing. Obviously, other guys I'd love to trade is like a Will Dade or a Tom Powell. I'd love to do a move like that. Technically, I could just go Tom Stewart up to Nasiah and Will Day over to Tom Powell. That's another option I could consider. But with a Perryman, I'm not sure that's necessarily what I should be doing. But I think Tom Powell looks like a very good pick, so something I could also consider. Obviously, Finn O'Sullivan's not great. Camperelli, if he gets dropped. Sanders, Wicks, I'd love to trade some of these guys, but a few of them are going to be staying probably a little bit longer than what I'd really prefer. So, but yeah, that's how we're looking for round 2. Hopefully, round 3 will be better sledding for us. But let me know in the comments below how you guys went in round 2. Let me know your score, your round rank, your overall rank, and your plus and minus 3s. I'm interested to see how you guys went, if you guys are struggling as well, or if a few of you guys are going well. Hopefully, a few of you guys are scoring well. I'd like to know if some of you are. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're nearly at 3,500 and on our way to 4K. So 4K is a big goal by the end of the season. So make sure you subscribe so we can reach that goal. And if you want to become a Patreon, head to patreon.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. I'm doing an exclusive Patreon Q&A tonight. So if you guys want to get your questions in and become a Patreon member, then make sure you do that. Link is in the description below if you would like to sign up there. Or if you've got any other questions, head to askmeonq, spelled qu.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics, and you can ask your questions there. Patreon members do get that service for free as well. So if you'd like to do that and get Ask Me On Q for free as well, then you can also do that. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night for our live show, our live Q&A, so you can ask your questions there also, where we'll probably have a guest or two jumping on with us. I think it'll be me and Jordox on and answering a heap of your questions, so make sure you guys jump on there and tune in there. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Obviously, tough week and tough, I know, for a lot of people out there, but let's keep moving forward, and hopefully it can't get any worse, I don't think. Or it might continue, but yeah, this week was pretty bad. So hopefully a better week in round 3. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow for our Q&A. Thanks everyone. See ya.